Minister Narendra Modi today took a sacred dip in the Triveni Sangam at Prayagraj, marking a significant moment in the Maha Kumbh 2025 celebrations. This dip is not just a symbolic gesture, it is certainly a testament to Prime Minister's commitment to India's rich cultural heritage. In December last year, remember, Mr. Modi had visited Prayag and inaugurated 167 development projects worth 5,500 crore, improving connectivity, amenities and services for the general public. Soon after taking the dip, Prime Minister had in fact tweeted and he had shared his views on X, and I quote him, "Blessed to be at the Mahakumbh in Prayagraj. The Snan at the Sangam is a moment of divine connection, and like the crores of others who have taken part in it, I was also filled with a spirit of devotion." And then he said, "May Ma Ganga bless all with peace, wisdom, good health and harmony," unquote. Mr. Modi did manage to send a powerful message about the importance of preserving India's cultural heritage and promoting economic development through temple economy. So on the show tonight, we'll be discussing that vision, that aspect of religion, spirituality and also economy all going hand in hand. We have Rakesh Sinha, former MP of former MP joining us. We also have Sadhvi Bhagwati Saraswati joining us. I'm going to begin with you, Sadhvi. As someone who has been at Prayagraj, what does today's visit of the Prime Minister really mean for the believers?
It's such a joy and it's such a blessing to be here. I've been here since before Makar Sankranti and will be here through Mahashivratri. And today, having our Honorable Prime Minister come was such a beautiful moment because, yes, his role is as a Prime Minister, but in his heart, he is a devotee. He is a spiritual man. And showing people that even when you attain to the highest levels of success, nonetheless, you should never abandon your dharma. You should never abandon your spiritual connection. That success and spirituality go together. Science and spirituality go together. Technology and tradition go together. And this is the vision of not only his visit today, but of the entire Kumbh Mela, that with his amazing vision and amazing dedication, and with that of our Honorable Chief Minister Shri Yogi Adityanath ji as well, that this Kumbh is really a Sangam of Asta and Vivesta, of digital India and Dharma. And today we saw our Honorable Prime Minister come. But what was so beautiful, especially because our camp, our Paramarth camp, is right there, right near where he landed and where he went for his bath. And Matlab, you almost didn't even know he was here. He came as an ordinary person, had his sacred dip and left in such a way that it didn't cause any inconvenience for anyone, any trouble for anyone, and just to show everyone that even at this highest level of success, our spiritual connection is the most important.
Yes. Gurcharan Das, economist, joins us. We also have Rakesh Sinha, as I said. Amish Tripathi, author and historian, is also with us. And Amish is at present in Mahakumbh for a documentary series for NDTV, Mahakumbh Tales. Amish, as an author who has extensively written about Hindu mythology, can you elaborate on the spiritual significance of Mahakumbh Mela, particularly the sacred bathing ceremony at the confluence of the Ganges, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers?
Thank you, Maria, for having me. And if Sadhvi ji is still listening, Pranam, Sadhvi ji, it's such an honor to be on the same panel as you. Maria, look, the Kumbh Mela, I think, is important for India at various levels. One is, of course, at the spiritual level. All of us know the story of the Sagar Manthan and the precious drops of Amrit that had fallen from the Kumbh. and fallen on 4 places on the Indian subcontinent where the Kumbh Mela happens, and we celebrate that through the Kumbh Mela. We participate in the spiritual journey of that. We connect to our ancestors. When we pick up the water and pour like this, we actually offer that to our ancestors. We connect to our ancestors. When we do the sacred dip, when we do the snan, we wipe out our sins, and of course we connect to the Amrit as well. That's at the spiritual level. But I think there is another level as well that must not be forgotten. What the Kumbh Mela does is actually reconnects us to our ancient culture. This is a tradition that goes back millennia. India is the only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive. And what is a culture at the end of the day? A culture is the stories that we collectively believe in, the rituals that we practice, the things that actually bring us all together. There are 450 million people at the Kumbh Mela at Prayagraj, just 450 acres, hectares. This is the largest gathering of humanity in history, and they've been all brought together by this ancient tradition. In some ways, this is not just a spiritual experience, this is a cultural experience. This is us showing to the world that India is an ancient culture that is still a living culture.
Okay.
The only pre-Bronze Age culture that is still alive.
Amish, the Ayodhya consecration ceremony marked a significant milestone in India's cultural and spiritual landscape. I was there covering it, you were there witnessing it. Now you are at Mahakumbh. Can you share your thoughts on the importance of this ceremony and how it relates to the broader themes of Hindu mythology and culture? And of course, today was even more special with the presence of the Prime Minister.
No, absolutely. Look, I spoke on the spiritual and cultural aspects already. Let me comment on the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister and what the organization of this tells us about modern India. Firstly, the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister. There is, of course, this line, Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, but it works in reverse as well. How the people behave and what they believe. They find a deeper connection with their leader if the leader follows that example as well. Practically all of us Indians, regardless of our religious background, I mean, even in our crew, we have people of all faiths. I find people of all faiths at the Kumbh Mela connecting to Dharma. And our leader, the Honorable Prime Minister, coming here and doing those ceremonies kind of touches us very deeply. That our leader respects what's important to us as well. And what Sadhvi ji said is so true. I mean, I am in Prayagraj. We were actually shooting out here, and outside of Arail Ghat, actually there were no blockages. We could peacefully cross the pontoon bridge. We could do our shooting at the Sangam. So it shows that actually the arrangements were made in a way that all of us ordinary people could carry on with the ceremonies, rituals and work that we had to do. That's
Okay.
That's on the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister.
Yes. I'm going to come
Sorry,
back to you.
if my time's run out, then it's run out.
Yeah, I'm coming back to you, Amish, in just a bit. A quick word from Rakesh Sinha as well. Rakesh Sinha, the visit of the Prime Minister is certainly about spirituality meeting modernity, because this time around Kumbh is also being called the digital Kumbh. It's not the, it is being organized in a way which is very different from what it used to be. This is the biggest gathering of human beings in, which has ever happened in the history of the world. So, that digital Kumbh, the use of drones, everything becomes very, very high tech.
This Kumbh signifies two important things. One, that people of all sections and all society and all civilizations can get together and sing and swim together and become as a modern man without getting in orthodoxy. This is a very important thing. That's why Diana McKenzie, who belongs to Lithuania, what she said that this is genuinely inspiring for her. And this inspiration was in a genuine sense for the diplomats of the 77 countries of the world, almost a delegation of almost 150 delegates of the foreign countries belonging to the different diplomatic embassies visited and took the holy dip in Kumbh. But what I say, you asked the earlier question to the guest that, and I'm just enhancing that. Prime Minister Modi ji taking deep holy dip in Kumbh, what it signifies. I'm just using the quote from the Mahabharata. That was a dialogue between Yudhishthir and Bhishma, in which the Yudhishthir asked Bhishma, is it that situation or context creates king, or king creates the situation, that is kalo va kardam, raja va kal kardam, iti te sansayo bhudraja kalasya kardam. Raja kalasya kardam. This means that it is the king or it is the ruler who creates the context, who creates the situation. You see in the modern India, the Kumbh and the cultural heritage almost becoming a part of the essays and the lectures. In practice, that remain confined to the traditional people. The term used for the traditionalist, they are going Kumbh. Prime Minister Modi ji identifying with the Indian culture and heritage in a genuine sense, not as a strategy, it's a genuine sense that is soft, it's not for the sake of this merely soft power. This is the reflection of its genuine connection with the heritage, culture, and the tradition. That revived, reoriented, and recreated the cultural autonomy of India that is becoming in a sense impactful for the world community, not for India. You see, I'm not comparing the two prime ministers, but it is essential in modern India. Prime Minister Nehru, he was a popular prime minister. He was the product of the freedom movement. He could have. He had an opportunity to revive the Indian culture, but in a way, almost decades and decades, we are taught by the Marxists and Nehruvians that these things are retrogressive for the country. Science and technology means distancing from the culture, from the tradition, from your heritage. Prime Minister Modi ji had taken a different route. That science and technology, Chandrayaan and Mangalayan, and the Kumbh, and the Kashi Vishwanath, and Prayagraj and Ayodhya, they can go together. Human society cannot survive in a peace, harmony, and can't develop without a sense of spirituality. And that spirituality is not a sectarian. That spirituality should not be communal. That spirituality is inclusive. And this Kumbh is the reflection of that highest stage of inclusiveness in the world civilization. That is Kumbh.
Yes, it's also about social inclusivity. It was sending a message that if the Prime Minister is there, then he is, along with other devotees, he is doing the same ritual. Gurcharan Das, let's talk about temple economy. Several temple towns of India have seen massive transformation, massive infrastructure push, be it Kashi Vishwanath corridor or Ujjain, which has seen that shift, the developments which has happened in Kedarnath, Badrinath, Ayodhya post the consecration of Ram temple, the expansion which is happening. This is also creating some kind of job opportunities and at the same time ensuring that people who travel get all that comfort which is needed.
Well, I think there is a lot of potential here. India's priority is to create jobs. We may become the fastest growing economy in the world, but we are not creating the jobs that we need to create. Since 91, we have grown at 6.5%, which is amazing for a democracy. We have lifted 450 million people out of poverty. Middle class has grown from 10 to 30%. And there are a lot of good things in all this, but we have still not created an industrial revolution. And this is at the heart of our problem of creating jobs. Now, tourism and temple tourism can become a major opportunity And when 450 million people went there, I mean, that's kind of mind-boggling. And so I really think we as a nation, we have not been very successful as a tourist destination. Little Thailand gets more tourists than India does. Spain doubles its population in the summer at the time of when the tourists come. So I would just say that this is a great opportunity because it creates jobs. Tourism creates jobs not only in hospitality, transport, etc., but the temple economy itself, with handicrafts, with its interests in education and hospitals, etc. It can create enormous number of jobs. And that's what we need. We need formal jobs. And what is good is I hope this digitization will also result in major tourist operators using this as an opportunity to travel, so that you create the formal jobs that people want. 45% of our people are on the farms. That is double of what we need. And so we, apart from manufacturing, I think that certainly, and other sectors, but certainly the tourism presents a great opportunity for us. Unfortunately, we are also an over-regulated economy. Now we are trying to deregulate.
Yes.
But I'm afraid that it's not. It's the problem still is the bureaucracy.
Okay.
And
So let me bring in Amish Tripathi again, and then I'll get the last word from Sadhvi Bhagwati. Amish, some critics argue that events like Maha Kumbh Mela and Ayodhya consecration ceremony are being used to promote cultural nationalism. As an author, again, who has written extensively, how do you respond to these criticism, and what role do you think these events play in promoting cultural revival and also national pride?
This can be answered at various levels. Look, if someone is talking about the investment that goes in, then I would point out that the only religion which is not allowed to run its own worship places in India is Hinduism. This is our particular brand of secularism. Muslims, Christians, Sikhs are allowed to run their own worship places. The Indian government has been legally appropriating billions of dollars from Hindu temples for decades. This has been coming from the British Raj. So if the government just invests a little bit back of what they have appropriated, the Indian state, what they have appropriated for decades, I don't think that's unfair. In fact, I think they need to reinvest back a lot more. That's the first point. Second point, when they invest in places like Prayagraj, Ayodhya and all other places, to the point that Mr. Das was making, the improvement in the economy and infrastructure here is dramatic. My roots are in UP. My grandfather was actually a Pandit at Vishwanathji, and he used to teach at Banaras Hindu University. I have been in UP. I know the state of the infrastructure that was here, the state of the job market, the dramatic transformation that's happened in infrastructure in all these places, a lot of it driven by religious tourism. Let me give you one example. We were on a boat yesterday. We were shooting on a boat. And I was speaking to some of the Mallas, and I know how much they used to make, boatmen earlier. The transformation in their income levels is not like 5, 10, 15%. It's like 1,000%. It's a life transforming change in income that has happened. And there are many people like this. So the temple economy is dramatically increasing job opportunities and income opportunities for the common people, for the people right at the bottom. Lastly, if I can make a cultural point, what happens with an economy? If you have an economic structure which has the mall and consumption at the heart, does it lead to good social outcomes? And we are seeing the impact of that over many decades in the West. On the other hand, if you have an economy with a temple at the center, where people who come here, then they're coming to Prayagraj, they're not coming to get drunk or to party. They're coming here to connect to Dharma. They are spending money, but they're actually improving their lives as well. Their families become stronger. Isn't this a better driver for the flow of money which you need in an economy? I would advise that maybe this is a new model, the dharmic economy, where you don't have a mall but a temple at the heart of it.
Okay. Sadhvi Bhagwati, your thoughts?
Beautiful. Well, it's been so beautiful to listen to what all of the other esteemed panelists have been saying. For me, the great and most important power of India is its message and its teaching on peace, on meaning of life, on oneness, on togetherness, on compassion, on the world as a family, on our openness. This is India's greatest export to the world. The number of people from all over the world, you know, as someone coming originally from America, one of the things that so many of the interviewers and media have asked is, why are all these people here from all over the world? And whether it's in Rishikesh, where I live, that I see every day, whether it's here in the Mahakumbh, people are here from all over the world because what Bharat has to offer is actually answers to the problems that people are suffering from all over the world. Rates of depression, rates of anxiety, loneliness is skyrocketing. We have a loneliness epidemic in the world. We've eradicated on a physical health level almost all of that we died from 100 years ago. And yet now we're dying from stress-induced illnesses, lifestyle illnesses. Our lives are out of balance. And whether it's through yoga, whether it's through Ayurveda, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through the philosophy of our scriptures, what Bharat offers to the world is answers to the suffering. And this Mahakumbh is such a great example, because when you bathe with people of every race, of every religion, of every culture, of every color, from every walk of life, all over the world. And this message of oneness, of togetherness, of family, of Vasudev Kutumbakam, this is what our world needs. We are more and more divided these days, not only in the Middle East, not only in Ukraine and Russia, but all over. I see it in America every time I go back. And the message that India and the Mahakumbh is giving to the world is a message of peace, a message of oneness, a message of togetherness, and lastly, a message of environmental protection.
Yes.
Because what the Kumbh is reminding us is the importance of protecting our water balance. Without water, there's no Kumbh. And this is the teaching of the culture. We worship. We say Jal Dev, the divinity of water, the Vayu Dev, the divinity of our air. And these teachings, this wisdom,
that's so beautifully
and the touch is for the world.
Sadhvi Bhagwati, really, you have shared such wonderful thoughts. Rakesh Sinha, 30 seconds to you, sir.
No, just I was adding that as far the temple economy is concerned, I am giving example of 1882 Kumbh. The British government collected 10,000 rupees by taxing the barbers and more than 40,000 rupees by taxing the vendors. So this has a huge potentiality, and that time the government appropriated the money but had not given any facility. This time in modern India, first time the facilities are for the people, for the second significance that I am ending with the significance of Kumbh, that it is not merely the oneness of the people, it also connects what other religion and culture say, the inorganic thing to discarded and appropriated and exploited. In our culture, Hinduism, we say that inorganic things, whether mountains or rivers or plants or trees, they are part and parcel of the universe. They are as good as we. So this is connecting between the organic and organic as a oneness. This is the beauty of Kumbh and our Indian culture.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Amish Tripathi, Gurcharan Das, Rakesh Sinha and Sadhvi Bhagwati Saraswati. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on what was seen as the big event of the day when Prime Minister Modi went to Prayagraj for that holy dip in Mahakumbh. A quick break and our coverage continues.